Welcome to this May's What Games I Played. This is a series that comes out the first Monday of every month, and what it is I go over the games that I played that I do not show here on the YouTube channel. This month I didn't really play too many games, so there's only two that I really want to talk about. The other one is Battlefield 1, which is gonna pretty much always be in these, or it's gonna be in these for a long while, so I'll probably do what I'm doing here, just show some cool footage that I got from this month here during this intro bit, maybe show off some of my cool rankings and things I'm proud of, but otherwise, if you want to hear kind of my reason that I play it so often semi-review, go ahead and check out the previous episode of this. It should be linked at the end of this episode, so go ahead and check that out. This month I played two PC games for the most part, and they were kind of outside my normal gaming. They were games I was interested in, like the game mechanics, but I'm kind of a graphics snob. So for a long while I haven't gotten around to playing them because I didn't really like the looks of them, but this month I figured I should try to get over that and go ahead and play them, even though I'm not a huge fan of their appearances. So without further ado, the two games that I played this month were Stardew Valley and Rimworld. So first off, we have Stardew Valley, and this is the game I had the most trouble convincing myself to purchase because of the graphics. I'm just never been really a fan of this pixelated with 8-bit kind of graphics. But I really wanted to try out a game that's like this. I know there's a lot of them out there, but I've never had the console or been able to get the games so this was kind of my solution to trying out this game style, and I was eventually able to get mostly over the appearance with the help of modding, especially. Like, I downloaded some mods, but most of the modding I actually did myself. I edited some of the graphics that were really bothering me. I think the biggest part for me was how saturated the colors are. It is so vibrant all the time, and there were little inconsistencies that also bothered me. Like, there's a bar in the town, and in winter the bricks are blue, and the rest of the year they're orange, and so just little things like that kind of bothered me, so I fixed them for myself. I can kind of be showing off, the differences of the original versus mine. But to the actual game itself, opposed to just concentrating on its graphics, I really enjoyed how chill it is. It's just very calming, and it's something I've kind of needed this month, given certain circumstances, to be able to just ohm and calm and just kind of worry about managing a little farm instead of my real life. So the farming's fun. It takes a really long time, like days or like most of the season. So if once you get to like a certain level, you don't have to pay too much attention to the farming, so you don't have to sit there and water every single individual plant, which is very nice because you do at the beginning. There's also fishing, though that mechanic is very hard to learn. I'm impressed with anyone who masters it because I'm no good at it. There's also some dungeon crawling where you can go down, mine materials, fight monsters, and the other part that I really enjoy is that you get to form relationships with everybody in the town. And I think there's like upwards of 30, I think, people, and you could even get married and have kids who will never grow up, and I just really enjoy the different events they come up. You have kind of like multiple choice. How do you handle this situation? When one of the characters shows you the planet, can you say, "Oh, I see a beautiful planet," or do you see death and doom and abyss? So, and then that kind of stuff affects your relationship with these characters. So if that's the kind of game that you're interested in, and the graphics aren't something that bother you, it's definitely a game worth checking out. When I was modding it, I was so disappointed because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fix these graphics and make them not so pixely. Turns out the pictures for the game are tiny. Like, they look like they were developed for maybe an iPhone or maybe a tablet and then expanded to fit big screens. So that's probably one of the reasons the graphics look the way they are. If they were larger, they would be something you could edit more, but there really wasn't much I could do about it, which is probably for the better. I should get over it and just enjoy the game and its graphics, but I'm so picky. Finally, the second game I really played this month is Rimworld. I know this game's been out for a long time. I think both of these games have been. I'm just really slow to join the party, apparently. But Rimworld is crazy. I know people joke that there's more to Rimworld, it's more complicated than real life. Sometimes it feels like it. There's so many stats and things to be looking at, but I really like how it starts out. Like, you start out, you get to choose the scenario of it. You can also create one. You can also randomize one. I was testing how the randomize works, and one time it was like, you get one survivor and you have nothing but 300 beaver meat. And I had another one, it's like, you get 7 people and you start out with 100 workbenches. So the random one would be difficult to work with. The next step in creating yourself a world is the difficulty, in essence. There's 3 modes with a tier of difficulties. So, like, you have one that's the normal, it gets harder as it goes, and then you can choose how difficult the events are. There's a mode where things are a little more chill. You still have difficult events, they're just more spread out, so you have more time in between the events. And the final one is chaos, in essence. And then once you've chosen that, you get to make yourself a randomized world based on a word. At least I thought so, but then I ended up creating a world with the same word, and then I got different worlds a couple times, so not sure how the randomization works, if the word just makes you feel cool and it's actually just completely random or what. And once you get to the world generated, there's just this huge map that you can choose where to place. There's different factions. Sometimes there's more enemies, sometimes more allies, and they're people you can trade with. They'll attack you, and where you place yourself changes how far your caravan can travel. Though there's also several biomes, from just ice caps where you can't live, to desert, to extreme desert, to just normal forest, to the jungles, to the savannas, and that changes how your plants grow. Also, where on the latitude? Latitude. Anyway, how close to the North Pole versus the South Pole changes how long your plants can grow. If you get towards the middle, you can grow them all year round, depending on the biome, obviously. So all of these things are taken into account, and what materials you can find, what creatures you can find. So there's a lot to choose there. And then for the most difficult part of creating your new colony, it's choosing or randomizing your colonists that you start out with. And I will spend way too long on this, because you're stuck with these 3 people for an indefinite amount of time. You don't know when you're going to get your next colonist. So if you randomize 3 people and all 3 of them can't clean, or none of them can put out a fire, you're in some deep trouble. And there's so many details for each colonist. You get their childhood job, and what they did as a child will give them, more stats, or take away stats, or give them abilities, or take away their abilities. And then if they're old enough, they'll have an adult job. They also can come with pre-existing health problems, from bad eyeballs to asthma to addictions to you name it. There's everything. They have different abilities on whether they can do dumb labor or smart labor or firefighting or cleaning or cooking and they also have traits, things like, are they friendly? I saw a new one the other day, which was staggeringly ugly. looks like a combination of modern art and bad child artwork. People have to put in extreme effort to look at this person. And that will affect their relationship with everybody. If you're just like a normal level of ugly, which feels really weird to say, you'll have like a negative 20 to start out with the relationship with people. And then through like chit chats and deep conversations and these things, you can build up a relationship. But often when they start out in a negative, it just continues to stay there because people will insult, and if they get too negative, they start fights, and it's a mess. It can be so hard sometimes, like, if you have somebody who's trying to build a relationship with somebody and they're not interested, the relationship just goes down and goes down and goes down, and they just get more and more upset. You can have exes, whether you create them and they happen to be exes, sometimes the events will give you, like, the ex. I had one in my most recent game where they fought and fought, and they insulted until they got into a fight, and one of them beat up the other one so much that he's now ugly. So now everyone dislikes him more. He's also kind of a jerk to everybody. He just insults everybody. But, you know, you have to worry about things like those two being in the same room because they may come to a physical fight, and then you're gonna have to heal one of them, and that means you have one less colonist for however long. So there are details like that. You need to be able to make their food, you need to, the way you build the rooms they stay in, what materials, if it's clean, if it's pretty, everything, the temperatures, the food, like the quality of the food. You can make things from just like 10 berries, or you have to get meat and berries, and then you can have meat and berries, and that makes them happier. If they get too unhappy, they have mental breakdowns, and they just go crazy, and then you have to take them as prisoners until they calm themselves down. There's everything in this game. Where you plant your crops on the ground will change how quickly they grow. Ugh. It's taking... I've had it for a little bit, not too long. Just a week or two. And I'm still trying to figure out some of the mechanics and how to make everything work efficiently. So, if these are all things that sound fun to you, my favorite part about it is the stories that come up. If you watch some of my other videos, you'll have heard the sad, sad tale of the colonist gorilla, rest in peace, who was attacked and killed by man-eating chickens, and as they ate off his toes, lightning struck next to him and caught him on fire. So if you like stories like that, this game is definitely one for you. I've even considered, like, writing and posting online, like, a journal of the day-to-day of this game, just because some of the craziest stuff happens. So yeah, obviously I've been enjoying it, and I would recommend it. So that's pretty much it for this month's, what I played last month's video. I need to come up with a better name for this. So if you enjoyed this episode of looking at games that I've been playing, I would recommend checking out what I played in the previous month before this, whatever month that was. And I'll do my best to have that linked at the end card. I know, I apologize, I'm not very good at getting those done in a timely fashion, but it is definitely worth checking out if you kind of want little game reviews and the like. So, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.